Hey man, today you'll be reacting to a video by Mandalore Gaming. Man, this one is called Limbo of the Lost, the greatest bad game. Man, yeah, this was requested, so figured might as well see what it. I don't know what Mandalore Gaming does, like in terms of like the content. If it's just like Warlock Racy or if it's like Seth Zintek, I don't know. It's my first time watching him, so yeah, the greatest bad game. That makes me think about a lot of things. Cause there's like the genre of bad, like there's a genre of bad games, so is it within that genre, like it's meant to be bad so it's good, or if it's like it's unintentionally so bad it's good? I don't know. So Limbo of the Lost, it sounds familiar, but I mean my memory is terrible. So yeah, let's just see how this goes. Mind your step.
Hurry up, Brigsy. Shake a leg. Get a move on. Oh, la, 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 la.
Oh. Okay.
A few weeks ago, a game called Hunt Down the Freeman was released. To put it bluntly, it's abysmal. There are feature-length videos talking about how bad it is. On top of that, it was using assets that appear to be stolen from other games. And
Wow.
I saw some people.
That's always a good sign, right? Like it's one thing if, I mean it's still a bad thing, right? But it's one thing if a fan-made mod does it, because I mean you can argue that they're trying to just use the mods and use the assets and try to put the feel and hopefully not sell it to people. Like you can argue for that, but then I mean like I said, it's still wrong. But then on the other side, you have companies like Bungie and the whole marathon debacle with the stolen assets. Now that's just wrong on another level.
It is. On top of that, it was using assets that appear to be stolen from other games and mods.
Wait, was this mod being sold? So it says a game called Hunt Down the Freeman was released.
To put it bluntly, it's abysmal. There are feature-length videos talking about how bad it is.
Also, so it's like an actual game that's being sold. Oh, okay, that's yeah.
On top of that, it was using
it was
assets
just a
that
mod.
appear to be stolen from other games and mods. I saw some people calling this the biggest scam in gaming, but I remembered a story
I think, yeah, I'm gonna pause a lot. I think this video came out before games like the day before came out, because that was known as the biggest scam to gaming.
very similar to this one, and not too long ago, actually. Imagine a game that stole at least 10 times as much stuff but got a physical release. Well, it's here. It's actually right here on my desk. Highly enjoyable. I was immersed with.
So it seems like reviews were suspect back then as well. So let's see. Looking forward to a grade A adventure. Highly enjoyable. Like this has to be. So we got justadventure.com, twitchy.co.uk, and then Game Boomers. I was immersed in the experience within the first few minutes. Yeah, I've had that experience with some mobile games. Like I don't know, I forget the names, but they really do some of them really do draw you in with like animation, a fleshed out story within the first few sections. And then once you get past the first area, yeah, say goodbye to story, say goodbye to that animation, say hello to microtransactions. So it's not a big thing to be immersed within the first few minutes. Like it's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but it's keeping that immersion throughout the game. That's what makes it good.
In the first few minutes. I've never heard of any of these websites, but I do agree that it is a highly enjoyable game. As you can tell from the title, this isn't just going to be a review this time. It's going to be a little different.
So it's an adventure
So in the
game?
spirit of Hunt Down the Freeman, I'd like to share a game that's so bad it's good, but also so much more. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started.
Forget reality.
Ooh, this screams 2000s, like those early 2000s Windows games. That's what the UI before when they showed him walking around. That's what it reminded me of too.
This is maybe the best advice you'll get in the whole game. When you start it up, you get a cutscene of someone falling through fire, and it's from the movie Spawn. I don't mean they ripped it off, I mean they literally took this scene from the movie Spawn, and they just made it their intro.
Wow. And PC gaming back then was wild. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of something like this happen.
The only thing different they did was putting a border around it. And the border itself, taken from a World of Warcraft wallpaper. The game hasn't begun. There are
What? So you're stealing from a movie IP, a Blizzard IP. How did they got sued, right? Surely. I mean, to be fair though, I mean, so far within like the first minute of this video, they didn't rip off anything Nintendo, so that's the one you have to be careful about.
already 2 lawsuits waiting to happen. This came out in 2008. This wasn't,
2008.
Wild West internet. I'm not going to play the whole.
I thought that was early 2000s, not 2008. That wow. That wow.
Intro, but there are only 3 people listed in the credits, and that's probably why. Also, I have no clue what anyone's saying or what's happening. Give a listen to the audio mixing.
Oh, I hate that. Where the music is so overbearing, you can't hear what people are saying. Poorly made. I know I'm going back to mobile games, but like it's the only comparison I can really think of right now. Like poorly made mobile games, which I played on my gaming channel a while ago, they usually have this, but usually it's not the music. Usually the music's the only thing that's balanced well. It's like you have the well-balanced music, and then when you go into a battle, the sound effects is cranked up to like 200% or something like that, so it's really loud. I also want to go back. It says researcher, vocals and playtester, co-game designer. I mean, wouldn't you have to test your game by default if you're designing it? I know I would, but I wouldn't put my name as a tester if I was doing that, but it is what, to each their own. The music sounds nice.
This will come up again later, but even if you could hear them, it wouldn't make a difference. Finally, we get to the prologue, featuring a vaguely...
That font. This font, it's... I mean, you can, like, this looks like a C to me. The prologue Q.
The adjusted Battle for Middle-earth loading screen. Then...
Wow.
It begins.
Is that?
So you are aware?
2008.
Good. No. Do not be fearful of me. I am to help, not to hurt. I am ready.
Right.
Where do you even start with something like this? Well, first of all, the style of cutscene may be familiar to some people. I couldn't understand what it was until later. It's a spiritual successor to the CDI Zelda cutscenes. It has all the ingredients.
Oh boy!
Okay.
I'm so hungry, I could eat an Octorok!
Imagine, like, I know, like, there's this game I want to play, but it just kept getting pushed back. It's called RZ. Now that's a spiritual successor to that game, but I mean, there's some charm to it, right? Oh, the zoom in.
Arak doesn't tell you about your backstory or why you're there, but he tells you to stay away from the Dark Ones. Well, I guess he tells the main character Briggs, because...
The Dark Ones, is that a reference to anything?
Because you, the player, are a character.
Yes, look! They're on the other side!
Whoa.
When you finally get to playing, it seems like any typical adventure game. Limbo the
Yeah.
Lost is entirely in 2D, which is awkward. At best, the Briggs model just seems out of place compared to everything else. At its worst, the game just doesn't know how to handle him. A lot of the
I know, like I said, I'm pausing a lot, but it reminds me of older cartoons in a sense where you like how do I describe it? I know this happened in like this early on Simpsons where the background itself is shaded one way, but then if something was about to be moving, like in terms of the animation and not be still, like that, those will be shaded differently. Say like if this was the background and there's like a this rock, for example, like this rock would be colored more brightly or something like that, so it was easy to tell what things were going to move and stuff like that. So
backgrounds look jagged and awful, and in theory, this could be fixed with anti-aliasing. I tried setting it up to maximum, and as far as I can tell, it doesn't do anything. Oh right, like I just said, this is a 2D game, so that's a screenshot. Why have the option?
that's weird.
That is incredible. Sometimes character sprites will double over each other in different positions. The art style can change every other room.
Oh, wow.
Basically, the visuals are a mess on a technical and artistic level. Some people play adventure games to explore aesthetically pleasing worlds, and this isn't one of those. Limbo of the Lost keeps you entertained by being half freak show and half scavenger hunt. For example, the first room you're in, stolen from Return to Castle Wolfenstein. The entire beginning of the game is. I'm not going to show all of it.
To be fair, I haven't played that game, so yeah, I didn't recognize
It will
that.
take forever. Just seeing what's stolen is fun, but there's so much more. For example, here's going up a set of stairs.
Okay. What?
That's never explained, it just happens.
What?
That's the story for this game. Things happen.
It just works.
Oh, faggot's the name, and cooking's me game.
What?
That's not a joke. The character's name is
What?
Cranny Faggot, and we're still in the prologue.
Like I know there, like I think there's at least 3 different uses for that word. One is like the derogatory word, one is for cigarettes, and I think one is like a cooking term or meat. Because I remember seeing like an ad in the show like meat, and then they called him that. So, what did I get myself into?
Go away. Black Hawk trust no one. Black Hawk only trust birds.
I hope you can understand why this
Right.
is beyond the regular video format. This is going to be a house tour / history lesson of an insane asylum. I'm not going to show all the good parts, but I'm going to break some things down, show some stolen stuff, and show how it doesn't work.
Ooh, jump scare.
If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that I'm no stranger to sound issues in games. However, Limbo the Lost has a unique one that I haven't seen anywhere else. There are no
Okay.
audio options, not even volume control. Fair
Huh.
enough. I can just lower it in the volume mixer. This works for a little bit.
A little bit.
Whoa, what happened? The sound level just jumped back up. Whenever you change your room, your volume spikes back up to your default.
Huh. I mean, the only thing I can think of before, like if he's gonna, I think he's gonna explain it, but the only thing I can think of is that each time he transitions between rooms, like it switches to a different program window, and that's why it keeps resetting. I could be totally wrong, but that's the only thing I can think of why the volume keeps going back up when you transition between rooms.
I've never seen something like this. I can only guess it's running some kind of check every time it loads a new room and then sets your audio up.
Or that.
Grunger. The big technical issue is that the game is prone to crashing. It seems to be random, but right here, I can swear that Briggs crashes the game.
Was it crashing because it's an old game playing on a modern PC, or is he playing on a virtual machine that runs the Windows of that time? Because I know if you try to install some like Windows 98 games on like Windows 11, it will not work. Wow.
There's your port report, PC Master Race. Luckily, you can load from the splash screen. Or anywhere else in the game. If a conversation is going too long and you're worried about crashing, you could just pause the game and save in the middle of it.
Wow.
So the crashing isn't as
Fancy.
big of a deal as it should be. By the way, check out the menu. The unpause button being back to hell is pretty funny. But look at the gargoyle. I won't run out of these anytime soon. It's good that the technical issues are for the most part weird and not game destroying. Having a so bad it's good game is much harder than a so bad it's good movie.
That's true.
Something like The Room, you just pop it in and watch Tommy do his thing.
Yeah.
This is why good bad games are hard to find. A bad game is like having Tommy Wiseau make the movie, but also the DVD it's carried on, in the DVD player. I've seen some people say that Hunt Down the Freeman is a so bad it's good game, but it's really not. If you're spending more time lost or feeling frustrated than laughing at the works of a madman, it's just not a good bad game. I don't think games that are designed to be broken like Goat Simulator should count for the category, but I'm not the expert. There's just...
Because I mean, like I said before, there is... I know at least in Japan, there is at least a category for bad games. Like, it's called bad games, or it's more... they use a different word for it, but it's a category just made for bad games. And I don't know if trolling is part of it. Like, I don't know if you would categorize I Want to Be the Guy or stuff like that in that genre, but yeah. I mean, I played a number of bad games on my gaming channel back in the day. Mostly, they were just bad. I don't think I've ever seen a so bad it's good one. At least for the time being.
Something special about seeing someone's different brain working at full capacity on a passion. Limbo of the Lost started development sometime in the early 90s, so nearly 20 years went into this.
I mean, like 3
so
people,
the fact
right?
that it's functional and relatively hassle-free on a modern system is a blessing. So now I'm going to show you how the game is played. The interface is very simple. You can right-click anywhere in the game world to open up a Ouija board. On an object, you can sense it, look at it, take it, or perform an action on it.
Okay.
In reality, you'll only be using 3 of these and not sense because it's useless. It's your sense of smell, but most things in the game you can't smell.
No sense, no feeling.
99% of objects in the game will say that.
So it's kind of like the old school LucasArts adventure type games, like Indiana Jones. What was the other one? Oh, what was the pirate one? It's like on the tip of my tongue. It was a pirate one, but I forgot the name. Church? Yeah, whatever.
When it comes to inventory, you just mouse to the top of the screen to access it. And you can use your actions on these items as well.
I know.
For example,
Indiana
if you have a
Jones is
letter,
one,
you
though.
can use the look command and then read it. Wait a minute. Well, I guess Cranny Faggot likes a drop of the hard stuff. But the menu. Let me know if you see anything that I miss. Anyway, some of the letters only open main menu options.
I mean, that's another Blizzard one, like, because he said the WoW one was another one, the loading screen. So the creator must have played Blizzard games on his free time or something.
You won't get all the letters until about the last 10 seconds of the game. Since you also click to move around as well, you don't need your keyboard for any of this. So the controls are fine and the UI is passable except for 2 flaws. That compass is always spinning. You might be saying, so what, it's spinning around. Well, just wait. When the levels will start turning into a maze, this is going to get into your head. To give it credit, it will stop moving when you mouse over an exit, but it might not always stop in the exact right place. Like right here, it stops moving for a moment, but I click there and I can't move off it. Nope, that didn't do it.
Is this music in the game, or is that music he added? Because, because if it's from the game, what a weird thing to put in this area. Smooth jazz.
Oh my god. Come on, finally, there we go. Interesting piece. I saw those skulls just everywhere.
Wait, that's the... I know this one. This is from Diablo 2. The lidless? No. It's a unique shield in Diablo 2. I haven't played it in a long time, so I forget the name. I think it's lidless. I could be wrong.
But once again, it's more Diablo.
Oh, Wall of the Eyeless. Okay. Yeah, lidless is something else. I knew it was from Diablo 2.
The shield of all
I know it. That one I recognize.
Interesting.
Naturally, you expect bad adventure game logic for the puzzles. And don't worry, those are there. It just
that's
takes it
true.
farther into crazy person logic.
I generally don't like those. Because, it's one thing to have you, or the game have you intuit things like you're doing A, it leads you to B, it leads you to C, which gives you more clues to do such and such, right? But then there's some games where it just feels like you just have to click on every pixel to find the solution, which I do not like. I generally do not like those ones.
So now I'm going to go through the game chapter by chapter and show things I thought were interesting. Not all
Okay.
of them in case you want to play it yourself, but enough to give you an idea of what to expect.
Oh, I say, we have a visitor. How lovely.
Hello.
What the? Oh, sorry, I forgot. Hang on. Do not be afraid.
A little bit too late for that. Whoa.
Is that better?
Dungeon
Snapchat filter before Snapchat.
Master.
The prologue is brief, but it serves as a perfect introduction to the game. Your main goal is to steal a key from the jailer known as Grunger, or Grunger,
Okay.
depending on who you're talking to, and escape the level. To get the key, you need to make a sleeping potion and knock him out and snatch it from his neck, except
Okay.
he's already asleep. Huh.
What?
What's interesting is how they were able to weave the stolen backgrounds together into something consistent. Like I said before, the very beginning is from Wolfenstein, but the later parts of the prologue are from a different game, an Xbox hack and slash called Enclave, or Enclave depending on where you're from. This is what
Okay.
you would go out and rent before the Souls games were invented. Back in the day, we just called it Swede Souls, you know, because Starbreeze is Swedish.
Wait, Starbreeze? Like the... Oh, they made Payday, right? I'm pretty sure they made Payday. They made a Souls-like before?
Today, we just called it Swede Souls, you know, because Starbreeze is Swedish.
Interesting.
Man, this reminds you of the good stuff. Anyhow, I went on a sightseeing tour in some games to find the locations. A lot of the Limbo of the Lost backgrounds are really zoomed in or have the colors adjusted, but it's not enough to hide it, especially if someone's looking for it. However, Enclave is integrated into the game a little bit differently than the others in one area. In the prologue, you meet a trapped character who's hanging in a suspended cage and he doesn't shut up. It's a
Okay.
joke that goes on way too long, but I like the skeleton in the background. You need to collapse the cage so you can grab his arm and then throw it into the sleeping potion you're making.
Right.
You go to the room above the cages and see the two ropes suspending them. There's a huge lever in the room, but it does nothing when you try to action it. Plus, I can see that these ropes are attached to a gate. Meanwhile, I found the same room in Enclave. They did try to hide this a little bit more by flipping the screen around. Good hustle. So you pull the lever and it raises the gate. The one you can clearly see. In Limbo of the Lost, you have to be Captain Kleptomaniac to put together a torch and then burn down the rope.
Oh, la, 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 la. Oh, 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 oh.
Okay.
Meanwhile, no, you can't
Is that supposed to be funny?
slash the rope. Maybe they thought that the puzzles were too similar, so made their own torch puzzle to differentiate from it. But in that case, why leave the lever there? Did they not have anybody who could Photoshop it out? I haven't gotten there yet, but
Again, there was only 3 people, right? There'll probably be another... Oh man, then again, they did change the stuff here and there slightly, so surely they know how to use Photoshop.
it's not even the most blatant plagiarism. Not even close. So what came first, the torch or the lever? Was the puzzle based around a stolen level, or did the puzzle come first and they just made the level fit into it somehow? Well, I think I have the answer. Remember,
Why does this... The fire looks like it's on some candles. What? Like these orange things remind me of those very short candles that you light to set the mood or something like that.
first and they just made the level fit into it somehow? Well, I think I have the answer. Remember when I said it was in development for nearly 20 years? Well, they
Yeah.
released a demo in 1995 for the Amiga 32. The 88th issue of the Amiga Computing magazine
Okay.
only had some images of it, but the 11th issue of a magazine called Amiga CD32 Gamer had a demo. As far as I can
Okay.
tell, issue 11 is lost to time, but the demo
Oh.
isn't. Time to fire
Ooh.
up the emulator.
What a stink. And before you say it, it isn't me.
Okay. Oh,
Man, gaming used to be so much
Okay.
better back in the day.
Forget reality. Surrender to your darkest dream.
They kept the same line.
oh, that sound.
Wow, it'll have hordes of monsters. I've got to admit, this game looks a lot nicer than the one they released.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, like, why do they? I mean, I guess I can only assume that they wanted to switch to 3D to be more, I guess, cutting edge. Because I think that's why Duke Nukem, like, I think that's why Duke Nukem Forever got delayed so many times, because the original trailer for Duke Nukem Forever looked awesome, but it was like, I think it was like with its old engine or something, like some older engine, and then they wanted to make it more modern, so they scrapped it, and then it was stuck in developmental limbo until Gearbox got it or something like that.
Try logic.
This looks
The
cool.
Amiga version is actually more of a pain because you have to cycle through more options with the mouse by right-clicking.
Oh,
What makes it unbearable is if you don't do something for 7 seconds, he stops the game.
Hello?
This is also a timed demo, so I don't want to have to keep restarting it.
oh,
It's really reminding me of CDI Zelda now. But wouldn't you know it, it's the exact same first puzzle. Grabbing the torch, combining it with the human fat, and lighting it in the cauldron. The exact same thing.
Nah, this brew's designed to chew, not spew.
What a weirdo.
This demo is going to have some more importance, but I'm going to put it aside for now. The demo
Okay.
proves that, on some level, there was an original game being made. So it wasn't
Yeah.
a complete sham of grabbing things from other games and designing it around that. That being said, there are stolen elements that are just lazy. For example, all the signs are using a Lord of the Rings font. Why not use a font that doesn't need a license? It's a shame because the elements that are original are genuinely bizarre and funny.
beware! Ooh, what is that?
So how bad do the puzzles get? The sleep
Jeez,
potion isn't
that
that
was-
far-fetched, except you also
Ugh.
need the jailer's snot to complete it. Plus, you get your first taste of crazy person logic. Cranny's potion calls for liquor, so you'd think you could find some liquor somewhere, but you can't. You fill a
Okay.
jar with water, combine it with a worm, and then you have tequila. That's dumb, but only a taste of.
I mean, wasn't there like a brand of tequila that had like a worm in it? I mean, I don't drink alcohol, and even I know that.
What's to come. I'm back from the sewer water. Here's your booze, Madam Faggot. You wake up the jailer to give him the potion that puts him back to sleep and then grab his key. You're done.
Right.
Grubs up. My favorite.
Chapter
Right.
complete. The tutorial. I'd usually be in the middle by now, but everything's all messed up in this video. And so begins Chapter 1.
I, young man, am the keeper of lost
Did you like to
souls.
zoom in?
You have done well to get this far.
What is this place?
To some, this is home. To others, it is a halfway house between their world and the next.
Right.
This is the keep of lost souls.
So tell me, am I dead?
What the?
Okay. Just, you didn't need to change your
Sorry
face for
about
that.
Don't know what came over me.
We are off to an excellent start. This is when the levels start to open up and the true madness begins. There are a bunch
Okay.
of coffins you could grab items from, but several of them are red herrings and they don't do anything. There are also 3 items, 2 of which you need to complete stuff, but you can only hold one at a time. One gift
Okay.
to rule them all. Some of the investigating is odd and lacks visual cues. I use take on an empty eye socket and I get a glass eye out of it. Why not just have an eyeball there? Chapter
Yeah.
1's beginning is all about teaching you not to trust what you can see. Like crossing this bridge that has rotting planks that are breaking apart. All the items I collected didn't help me out, but here's the
Okay.
answer. You go to the entrance of the level and pick up an entire coffin lid. Now you could use it on the bridge to cross. That doesn't look safe to me. Your perspective really gets thrown off in this
Yeah.
level. Not like
Just like on one hand, it makes sense. You're using, I guess, more sturdy wood, but then again, you're also putting it on. Yeah, you're also putting it on the rotting wood, so it's the structure is still rotting. So yeah.
long after you find what looks like a satanic dog bowl. Fluffy. Oh, don't
Is that Buffy? That has to be Buffy, the Vampire Slayer.
tell me. I was really expecting the dog from Harry Potter. Or maybe the model from the game.
Oh, wait, what?
Hey,
Yeah, that font reminded me of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for some reason.
You asleep?
Oh my god, they did it. Alright, I see it. And stop.
What?
Actually, they are 3 separate dogs, so it's not a complete ripoff. But then why only show one dog bowl in the cutscene? The world may never know. To keep the dogs distracted, you have to put a bone in each of their bowls. For every bone you put in, a gate opens up. This room is a 3-door hub to the rest of the level, so ideally you want all the doors open at once. The only place you can get a bone is from the first room, but you can only carry one at a time. It's about a minute trek each way, and there's no special event or challenge, it's just to waste your time.
Yeah, I feel like it makes more sense if it's stuff like this coffin lid. Like you can only carry that one at a time because it's massive. But I feel like with bones, you should be able to carry multiple. You have 2 hands.
As for the level itself, it's interesting that it's not only plagiarizing, but also recycling plagiarized material. It's mainly Painkiller, the Catacomb level to be exact. All they did here was slightly angle the screenshots they took and sometimes slap some signs around. Dead Man's Drop, Dead Man's Curve, Dead Man's Gorge. I wish I was dead.
Wow.
I wouldn't call it a maze because there's only so many directions you can go, but it is annoying. Like any average adventure game, some stuff you can figure out on your own, but others are just deranged.
Oh, thank you, Black Hole, but really, there's no need for...
Shh. No buts. Now, go.
Do you know what?
Right.
Every gift tells a story.
Okay.
I would be really excited to see Briggs in the new Smash. While there are more elaborate puzzles to choose from, there's a really simple one that shows madman logic, or maybe 4-year-old logic. Eventually you'll need a soul of a warrior to get past a statue that's drunk and sounds like Predator. You need to switch the real green soul bottle with a decoy that you make yourself. So you fill up an identical looking bottle with water, that's a good start, but what do you mix it with? You use a bag of saffron. Now saffron spice is typically more red colored. The color saffron is named after the tips of the flowers that make the spice. So assuming it is a bag of the spice, it'd be more red colored, but we can pretend that it's all golden saffron tips. So you combine the yellow saffron with the water and you get green? Because water is blue and saffron is yellow and blue plus yellow equals green? Water isn't paint. At least not in my part of the country yet.
It's alright. I promise you won't talk anymore. I won't talk about anything. I promise you.
The first level also has the first of 3 hidden items. You can only see it if you aim for the left of the stairwell here. It's not horrible, but a little too out of the way. Rest assured, each one of these will be worse than the last.
Okay.
My favorite.
That grin.
Here, you must take in exchange for gift.
I think that's enough of Chapter 1. Like I said before, I'm only giving you a taste of what's in store. The sewers.
The grin.
What's really incredible is how little you learn by talking to so many people. We're now 2 chapters in and we only know that we're a chosen one and that we're stuck in limbo. The story offers just about 0 intrigue. Like anything so bad that's good, you just keep playing to see what happens. It still might be best to play this game in bursts. The ambient audio never stops looping, but this one soundbite is the worst. It's roughly every 2 minutes. It's also a stolen sound effect from the Hammer Hansen Thief.
Okay, Saw.
The sewer/swamp level has the most plagiarized things I could recognize without looking stuff up. The first screen, once you pass into the sewer, is from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Most of the gross sewer seems to be the Hollywood sewers. There's an entire room filled with Morrowind items. There's a set of orcish armor and a bunch of weapon models they just retextured. This won't be the last we see of Elder Scrolls games. Not even close. There's also this Greek helmet in the corner I thought was from Google Images.
I mean, to be fair, if the developer was truly inspired by those games, then I guess he was playing all the good games, right? But I guess the logic goes away because like just grabbing stuff from good games to make your own game does not make the game itself good. If you just take bits and pieces from every single game of the year or something like for the past 20 years and put it into your own game, and that's not a guarantee that the game itself is going to be any good.
After looking around, it turned out to be the Dusk Deep helm from Diablo 2. Incredibly, I don't think this is the most blatant plagiarism in the game yet. That won't be until next chapter.
Oh.
Chapter 2 does have one of my favorite stolen assets, the flute. Not the instrument.
Wait.
Chapter 2 does.
A wooden flute. This wooden flute cannot be played as it's a stick. It's a stick.
Does have one of my favorite stolen assets, the flute. Not the instrument itself, but the song.
The song? Oh, no.
Okay, they had a little Indiana Jones tune. So what? Well, it's more than you think.
Huh.
They didn't bother to whistle the tune themselves, but instead took an Easter egg from Serious Sam.
What? Huh. That's layers deep of what? Because like you can always just record yourself playing it, right? I mean, sure, it's still the theme tune and whatnot, but to use an Easter egg from another game my head. Oh, we're only halfway. My head.
That is impressive. As for the game, it's very similar to Chapter 1. Once again, there are 3 main doors, except this time you can only open one at a time. Innovative. The puzzles themselves are becoming more cruel,
That
both
is freaky.
narratively and mechanically. Can you see the important item in this room? It's not this panel, not this jar.
It's the painting. That's what I mentioned earlier.
Narratively and mechanically. Can you see
Like the things, at least in early cartoons, the things that are meant to move or meant to be like that is going to be like the main point of focus, those will look very different.
the important item in this room? It's not this panel, not this jar, not the glowing picture on the wall.
Oh,
it's a
it's
piece
not?
of wood on the back desk. You can only click.
Well, then disregard what I said. It's so I guess this is one of those every pixel matters.
Click on about 2 pixels of it, so you can mouse right over it and miss it. This is the
That's
second worst
wild.
hidden object in the game. As
Second
for narrative,
worst?
at one point Briggs sneaks up on an old man and then puts an iron bear trap over his eyes. That seems a bit excessive, so why would he do that? To take his pen and ink. Reality is slipping.
There's some lovely filth around here. Who are you? Go on. Clear off.
Right. The
Oh,
zoom
neat, Thor's
in.
hammer.
That was so bad.
Logic is running on empty in Chapter 2. So now we're gonna move on to the only real plot and character driven level in the game, Chapter 3.
Okay. The zoom ins. Okay.
Why is the music double overlaying? Dark Mirror.
He's very, very worried about you, and I'm a little bit worried myself about being worried about your friend, being worried about you, being worried about this, and
A shot every time he says worried.
I want you to take it so I don't have to worry no more.
Oh, thank you, but who?
Right. the facial animations are something in this game. Well, we hardly knew you. Who are you?
Soul Taker!
Her audio is way better than the main characters. What? Dark Mirror is the first time you can learn more about the inhabitants and where you are. It's refreshing. After doing random tasks with very little story drive, it's nice to have some narrative. Briggs has been accused of being a monster called the Soul Taker.
Okay.
You're imprisoned in a very familiar looking cell, but it's not for long.
Elder Scrolls? Seems very Elder Scrolls-y.
You find your way out.
Time passes. That font seems familiar. Oh, where have I seen that font before?
It seems we have done you a great injustice, my good fellow.
The mayor appoints you as detectives, so now you need to interview people, gather clues, and find the real soul taker. You even have a little LA Noire clue book. Why is the snow not cold? That's a good start.
Is it yellow by any chance?
And so begins the most unbelievable plagiarism in the game.
Wait, no. No, they didn't. No, they did not.
Unbelievable plagiarism in the game. You cannot be serious. Nearly every single interior is ripped out of Oblivion.
I knew it was Elder Scrollsy. I knew it.
Not remotely subtle. They copy floor plans entirely. The Shivering Isles expansion had come out just the year before. This could have been on the same shelf as Oblivion. People were actively playing this game. How could they think no one would notice?
How were they able to do that with, like, I mean, I'm sure that the game companies didn't know that this was being made on, like, I'm assuming they didn't know, but how did they not get sued after this was released? Like, it's one thing to not know when it's in the when it's in the middle of development, because, like, it's in the middle of development, but when it's released, like, how did he not get sued?
Mind-blowing. There's no other way to put it. Out of all the things that people...
Like, this is worse than Power World. And then people was ragging on Power World's pals to be ripoffs of Pokemon. Little did they know Nintendo was suing them for patents and not the Pokemon themselves.
Might miss
or the pals themselves.
Entire levels from a popular AAA game that was still on shelves.
That's wild.
Even then, they still managed to screw up the background. I still play modded Oblivion from time to time, so I could go right down to the first edition bookstore. Here he is behind the counter, and here's the back view. You enter the building from the wrong side. The register facing the clerk, the books facing outwards, it's all mixed up. They couldn't even get the chair completely out of the shot. This feels like having an out-of-body experience. The fact that living human beings thought they could do this and make money off of it without getting in trouble is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Now would be a good time to bring up the fire. Since they just screenshotted the level, they needed animated torches. All the fire in the game uses fire.gif.
Yeah.
They downloaded a fire GIF, put it on the Oblivion screenshot, level completed. It wasn't even the first time in the game they took Oblivion assets. But Darkmere is chock full of them. It's unreal. Literally unreal. Unreal Tournament 2004.
And then they charged money for this. That's the most surprising part. I swear I've seen that fire GIF, however you want to pronounce it. I swear I've seen it. Like it was like I want to say it was like a clip art maker, but it had like you had like a background. You can select like tens and hundreds of different animated things, some of them being fire. I remember playing that as a kid, and that fire looked very similar to one of those.
Except they were taking and editing user maps. So they took all these measures to change the map from some map maker, but not the major studio game owned by ZeniMax.
It's so weird.
Oh my.
Because like it's blatant, but then it's like layers deep of how blatant it is. That sounds legitimate. That actually sounds legitimate.
Oh dear.
I can never return to first edition. So, what is there to see in Cyrodiil? There are several interesting characters. You might not be able to talk to them for long, but what's there is really good. Much like the real Oblivion, however, it's held back by the amount of voice actors they have. Much of Darkmere's population is voiced by one guy pitching his voice up and down or making funny voices.
It seems we have done you a great injustice, my good fellow. My dear friend and trusted advisor, O'Nega's here.
Right.
Can I help you, miss?
Actually, it's Mr., not Miss.
What? You can't be my sister. I haven't even got a sister.
Mr. I'm a man.
For an age, it seems that this has been going on.
One after another they disappear. Souls taken.
There are 2 actors with better equipment, but they have their own issues. Sometimes you can hear the click of someone starting to record it in the background.
My pleasure, Mr. Detective. Now, you sure nothing takes your fancy before you go?
Detective? I say, detective. We found another one.
Can you hear me?
Well, at least he died peacefully.
Can you help me find the soul taker?
The zoom
Mon
ins.
Dieu, s'il vous plaît, monsieur. Do not say those 2 words within this house. Shadows may seek even this place.
Right.
Give her a chance at least.
Right.
What? Detective Briggs is a mix of both the best and the worst the game has to offer. Exploring the town and finding clues are more engaging
Why was she like the best looking character model in the game so far?
than all the other chapters, at least until you hit a wall. Unlike the previous levels, Darkmere is expansive. They even give you a map that lets you teleport around town. It's so
Oh wow.
Now this is great for a while, but then the game starts trying to trick you. When you and your deputy find another victim of the Soul Taker, sometimes you'll automatically pick up his items. This saves
Okay.
hassle at first, but it doesn't always work this way. Sometimes a cutscene will end and the game will automatically have you leave the area, but you don't want to leave, you want to go back. There are items being left behind that don't show up in the previous screen, so you always want to double check. Here, I can see the key on the floor, but the game has me walk right past it, and I have to go back and get it. If I wasn't paying
That's
attention, I could have been
weird.
screwed from that and had to look all over town to find the right item. The stolen level design that's not touched up makes it even harder than it should be. That light really is an exit on the Unreal map, but in here it looks like one, but you can't go through it.
Wow.
This Frankenstein of a game isn't even stitched up right. Sometimes an area that had nothing might have items appear.
Hey, much like that one character's face, right? That was like from way early on. That talked about like the Black Hawk. Where was it? I don't know, but like his face was kind of like stitched up. So yeah, this person, I don't know if you can like see like the face was all stitched up
There
incorrectly.
later. Keep checking the journal. If something's not crossed off, you have to go back later. I could follow the plot up until Briggs was hiding in a stable with some terrifying horses. So he scopes it out and he's like hiding in the corner and these characters walk in and then one says horses for courses. I've played this a few times now and I have no idea what this means, but it's the key.
That's what the
Right.
creature was trying to tell me.
You mean this guy?
What? That's frightening. That is
There was
frightening.
only one point when I was really stuck, and it's a nightmare. At some point when you leave first edition books, you get hit with a snowball.
Whoa.
Okay.
The note says there's more than one way in, and I'm glad the game points it out. I'm serious, there's so many typos and spelling errors that you might think differently. I look all around the inn and I don't see any secret passage or switch or button or anything. Maybe the note meant
Okay.
there's another way to go inside the inn from somewhere outside. So I explore the areas around the inn, but I still don't find anything. So here's the
Okay.
answer. The horrible, horrible answer. First, you have to go behind the bar to a very exact spot in the corner. Then you mouse around for a magic pixel. No text prompt comes up, your hand just changes shape for about half a second.
I hate
You
that.
have to be standing in the right place, so I have to keep waving around to do it right. Up.
That
nope,
is
there
so
we go.
lame.
Now you're in the Secret Oblivion dungeon. That, by far, is the biggest blocker in the game. Now I can just grab these Baldur's Gate cloaks and be done with it. When I finally found the big piece of evidence, I nearly had a stroke. I'm gonna leave that as a surprise. When you have all the evidence,
No.
Briggs brings it to the court. Not since A Time to Kill has there been a speech quite like this one. He's trying to reach a word count.
No. This is an evil, greedy, corrupt society whose lust for wealth and power means that they will stop at nothing to get what they want. The
Okay.
landlord of the very aptly named Inn of Sins. A fine, upstanding people, ladies and gentlemen. These people that you know and recognize. Take a good look.
I timed it. This goes on for 7 minutes and 45
Ooh.
seconds, and you cannot skip it. It actually sounds like an essay being read aloud. It drags out every piece of evidence you found. I could
And that's why they don't want you to skip it, because then they know how long it took him to
feel
record or
myself
something like
being
that.
pulled into the void when suddenly one of the greatest cutscenes in video games begins.
Oh? The grin.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you your soul taker.
Okay. What's with the beady eyes? It makes like they had very menacing, very scary creepy looking faces before. Like this, the beady eyes does not make it scary. The grin. Oh no.
The taker has been banished. Your mare has been returned.
Right.
Absolute art.
I also noticed, where does this belt buckle go to? Like, it doesn't continue to the side here, right? Like, it just stops here. What? Shouldn't there be a latch? Shouldn't there just what?
Absolute art. It's never explained what he did. It's great. So it's time to move to the 4th chapter, after the troll removes all of our items.
Okay. Wait, did that troll wear a cod piece? It did. What is this game?
Who do you think you are throwing your weight around like this?
The grin?
The machine.
Ooh.
Chapter 4 sucks. Not in a funny way, it just drags out too little for way too long. As far as I know, this map is made entirely from Unreal maps. Way too few. This is a case study in how not to pad out your adventure game. It has a map similar to Dark Mirror, albeit much smaller. All of the numbered tower locations are completely identical, except some have items.
Okay.
Tower 1 and 2 have nothing, a complete waste of time. Tower 3's only item is right outside the train. There's no reason to explore the rest. So there's not a lot to see, but the game knows it. There are 2 objects that really stick out, but you can't interact with them at all. You have to do other minor tasks, and then they show up and you can pick them up. I don't know why this bothers me so much. Possibly because it was something I expected, but it didn't happen until now. The only good things about it are the cutscenes. There's only a few of them. You can beat it all in 10 minutes. So now's a good time to talk about
But it's 10 minutes that feel like an hour, right?
background stuff before the final chapter. Oh my god, the whole country's a circle.
I, madam, am Benjamin Spooner Briggs, captain of the Mary's Benjamin Spooner Briggs, captain of the Brigadier Mary Celeste.
I like Briggs as a character because he's a goofball, but you don't learn a lot about him.
No, you don't.
You can learn some things from the bonus disc. It's an enlightening piece of media. For starters, it has an entire
that fire animation is from Diablo.
Disc. It's an
I mean, it's not. I don't think it's a 1-for-1, but I feel like this was very influenced by Diablo, with the fire in the background.
Enlightening piece of media. For starters, it has an entire intro cutscene that's not in the game. Yeah, when you're just thrown into it all with no context, this was supposed to be in front of it. Why it's not actually in the game, I have no idea. It has an intro, credits, titles pop up, and it's way more elaborate than the one the game has.
Probably to save install space. Because this game came out in 2008, right? So the norm of bloating up your install space wasn't really a thing back then, like it is nowadays, right? Because nowadays games will be hundreds of gigabytes if they want to put in 4K textures and video, but back then hard drive space was a premium, so I guess it makes more sense to put it on a DVD to watch, maybe.
I can only put it down as another mystery. Anyways, the weird vampires
That's
in the
what I
intro
think,
are
anyway.
brothers named Destiny and Fate. But aren't those the same thing? I guess Destiny usually has more positive connotation than Fate, but still. Anyhow, Briggs gets lost in the Bermuda Triangle. It has some live action footage that people debate over the source of, but they definitely didn't make it. It explains that Briggs is on an island and his actions will determine the future of mankind. Those are higher stakes than what the intro implied. Wait, that's the Crisis demo. Maybe they scrapped it because they knew they weren't allowed to use that. It's still incredibly vague, but better than what the game came with. It even shows why Briggs is flying through the big hell portal from Spawn. So Briggs is still a goofball and this doesn't change that. But here's where it gets strange. Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs was a real man. His ship, the Mary Celeste, was also real and was found derelict a few days after this game takes place. Briggs and his crew were never seen again. This game is the final legacy of a real God-fearing sea captain.
That's weird.
Rather grab your Chicago style and get on JSTOR, it's time to learn. Limbo of the Lost was a book originally published in 1969. It got republished in the 70s as Limbo of the Lost, Actual Stories of Sea Mystery.
Wait, so this game was based off a book that was based off a real life thing. So where did all the stolen assets come into play?
There were several articles and a few books talking about the Bermuda Triangle before this one, but this helped popularize it. The real course of the ship was nowhere near the triangle, but here's where things get a little tricky. So I went to my buddy Tex from the Black Pants Legion. He's done historical work specializing in maritime history, so he'd be perfect. At this point, I knew that the real Mary Celeste was one of those weird sea mysteries. It was found derelict near Portugal with no crew, all the cargo intact, but a missing lifeboat. Some of the sails and rigging were damaged, but that was about it. Now here's where things get complicated. Sir Arthur Doyle, the guy who wrote Sherlock Holmes, had a short story published in 1884. It was in an issue of Cornhill magazine, and was based on the real Mary Celeste. He just changed minor details and names, like calling the ship the Marie Celeste. The story ended up being so popular that to this day it corrupts historical documents about the real ship. The US consul in Gibraltar, who had been present at Mary Celeste's hearings, would later make inquiries based on the story's facts. After Tex did some groundwork and things, he found out the big discrepancy: the cargo. Doyle's account puts the cargo value at $35,000, which is worth more than the ship. The alcohol was also going to be used to fortify wines, but that's not how this works. The real ship had 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol, most likely pyridine and methyl spirits. This wouldn't be how port and fortified wine were made. They would use a neutral grape spirit, most likely locally, not from overseas. Not to mention that port was mainly a cocktail mixer in the Victorian era. Shipping booze across the Atlantic to make ratchet peasant wine would have been stupid and expensive. So any account saying the cargo was worth $35K and being used to fortify alcohol is wrong, and written by brainless. This eliminates most accounts of mutiny and aliens. So was Briggs eaten by his crew? A sea monster? Well, the most likely answer came out a few years before this game was made. Dr. Andrea Sella of the UCL chemistry department built a replica of the Mary Celeste. He simulated a butane explosion from the cargo hold, which made a big fireball but left no signs of burning on the ship itself. This would explain why the ship was damaged but showed no signs of burning due to a pressurized explosion. It explains everything being left behind and no entry in the captain's log, because explosions at sea are scary. So why are there still weird theories? Because there's money to be made off mystery.
As much as the simplest solution.
Well, he didn't he mention that there was also a lifeboat missing too? Well, I mean, I guess the explosion could knock the lifeboat out, maybe.
Explains everything theories. Because there's money to be made off mystery.
As much as the simplest solution makes sense, other tantalizing evidence suggests another fate for the Mary Celeste.
The first mate's wife claims that on the night of November 25th, she had a dream that said that her husband had been murdered at sea.
Please stop. The new owners of the Mary Celeste then took it to a reef off the coast of Haiti and tried to wreck it there for 6 insurance policies.
I mean, I guess it's a way, a subconscious, unconscious, I don't know that's the right term, but it's a way to get some closure maybe, because if it's from an explosion, then like you don't know where the bodies are. There's no real closure to it, so maybe the mind can make that up. I don't know.
They didn't get it. Speaking of scams, the developers claim they didn't steal anything. It was all done by a mysterious person or entity that they...
Right. I think I heard that from the marathon game. They didn't know that they stole it, even though most of the artwork was stolen. and that the art team followed the original artist. I don't know how it got there.
Outsourced. Well, guess what we're coming back to? Remember the Amiga demo? This hallway is the key. There's another Amiga game called Guy Spy, and people have pointed out some striking similarities in this hallway. That's right, even back then, they were ripping people off.
Wow.
This game is legendary. So, let's move on to the final chapter.
Okay. What?
He mentioned something interesting.
What?
Cypher is pursuing new research. He claims that what they're doing in Africa is the missing piece.
Who are you?
A weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
What? What? Sure.
The Citadel. This is another short one made of Unreal maps, but I like it a lot more aesthetically. The original score, maybe the only thing not stolen, is also really good. The puzzle's just matching up a right hammer with the right head on the wall and you're good to go.
Right.
Still, for the final level in this adventure, it seems like a letdown. It did seem rational at first. After all, they couldn't expect a ton of people to get this far. But then the true final challenge began.
Oh no.
It's very dark down here. What?
See, like, well, we saw the front, like now we see the back. It's just a strap. Like what?
Dark down
I'm annoyed by this.
What? Oh.
The zoom-ins.
Where the hell am I?
Right.
Intruder. The Dark One knows you. Where is the seal? The Chosen commands your death.
Right.
You answer to me.
Epic choir seals the scene.
That is a legitimately awesome build-up. This is a time challenge. Remember where each head was and activate them in order of a panel. This is not a lenient timer.
Wait, is this music from the game too? Huh. Oh, that timer is going down really fast.
I got all the symbols, but now there's letters. Looks like destiny. The timer keeps going and you don't have time to screw around.
Yeah.
You're gonna be at the bottom, so you need to get those letters in as fast as you can. Once you do, you've won it all. I'm saving the best.
So what happens if you don't do it? Does it actually slice your head off?
Ending for last. This comes after. Fate is upset that Destiny has beaten him, and so they opt in for a double or nothing. That's right, they were already teasing a sequel. We both know a lot of reasons why that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
For those same reasons, I would highly recommend checking it out, or getting a copy. Unsurprisingly, there were a lot of legal issues after this game came out, so the retail boxes got pulled.
Really? I wonder how much it actually, like nowadays, I wonder how much nowadays it's actually going for since you can't get it anymore. Like on one hand, it's not that popular or good, but on the other hand, it's a relic, so...
At the time of this video, you can still find wrapped copies for 15 to 20 US dollars, but those won't last forever.
Yeah.
This isn't getting a digital release or an enhanced edition anytime soon. For all its problems, it's such a bizarre and funny experience that, for someone like me, I couldn't help but keep going.
Like, imagine someone, I guess, quote-unquote, remakes this game, but makes it all from scratch, so it uses none of the stolen assets. It'll be a completely different game then, right?
And nothing reflects its spirit better than the real ending.
Oh, the real ending.
Thanks for watching. These videos are increasingly harder to
sequel.
make due to scheduling issues, but I'm trying to do it when I can. At some point in the near future, I'll have a special showing of this game on Twitch.
Limbo
Same name as the
of the
YouTube one.
Lost.
If you stuck around this long, thanks again, and here's the perfect ending.
Okay.
I can't see a thing.
That's nice. Right. They're all black keys.
I tell you what, let's see.
See, like they make like creepy looking faces just fine. Why did that one demon have beady eyes? That is so weird.
After all he's been around, in my beauty should be crowned. The king of Limbo. Well, he's had his ups and he's had his downs.
What a helmet.
He's had his smiles and he's had his frowns. But I still say he should be crowned. The king of Limbo.
What a song.
Wow. He took his courage to the brink. If it were me, I would turn to drink. Well, that's the reason I think he should be the king of Limbo. Yeah, he had to face enough sins,
Right.
but at least he kept his leggy limbs. I think that we should be crowning him the king of Limbo. Take it away with you, baby. That's cool.
Right. Oh. The head turn. I mean, like, this ending is unique, I guess. You don't see this type of ending anymore nowadays in gaming.
Even though interactively, but now we feel that Rick should be the king of Limbo. I do up, I do be do up, I do up, I do be do up, I do up, I do be do up.
The way they sound, the way they end the wop is like wop. That's an interesting way of ending it.
The king of Limbo. I do up, I do be do up.
Yeah, I keep hearing the.
I do be
I
do
don't
up.
know.
I do up, I do be do up. King of Limbo.
Yeah, that sums it up. That sums it up. That was fun. That was fun. I had no idea what to expect, and I was not expecting a copyright mess. Like in terms of like the game assets, I'm sure this video will be fine in terms of like all the music used. So yeah, that was Limbo the Lost, the greatest bad game by Mandalore Gaming. If anyone has any more, if anyone's still here and has more suggestions of videos, stuff like this, I think like when I searched for this, because I searched for it normally, I didn't go to Mandalore Gaming's channel. I just searched for it with the title that was suggested to me in a comment. I saw that Vinesauce played it too a long time ago, so maybe that's where I might have heard it. I feel like if I had seen it, I would have remembered it, but I don't remember this at all. So yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, thank you for watching and have a nice day.